everyone. My name is Jacqueline. I am an engagement officer, part of our business partnerships team here at Newcastle University Business School. And during this webinar, I'll be talking to you about how you can engage with businesses as part of your master's program. So as you can probably tell from my accent, I am not from Newcastle. I actually came over to do my own master's at Newcastle University a long time ago and fell in love with the city and the region and wanted to stay. As you can see, not only is it beautiful, but the people here are incredibly friendly and really supportive as well. Newcastle University is a landmark institution here in the region, so businesses really appreciate engaging with the university and our students, and it's an incredibly friendly student city. So whenever someone from the university is out and about engaging with businesses, they're always more than happy to work with us, which is fantastic. So the business school, through our academics, my team, the business partnerships team, as well as the employability team, we are constantly engaging with external organizations that we can provide you with opportunities to learn from industry experts and apply that learning as well to real business challenges. Last year, the business school engaged with more than 200 local, national, and international businesses. Now, in just a bit, I'll go through the different ways that we engage with those businesses, but I think it's really exciting to highlight that regardless of whatever program you're on, you're going to have an opportunity to engage with different business practitioners from various industries and experiences, regardless of what it is that you're studying. Now, Newcastle, as I mentioned, is a very vibrant city that often engages with the university in so many different ways. So some of the strategic industries of the city are listed here. And one of the reasons that they are strategic industries is because they engage with academic research as well as our students. So for example, digital and tech, health and life sciences, energy and sustainability in particular, have all been furthered because of the relationship that business has with the university. So that's something really exciting to be a part of, and some of the reasons why businesses choose to actually have their headquarters here in Newcastle, which of course provides more opportunity for you to engage with them. So we also have an international advisory board, and they play a crucial role in shaping how we enhance our offer and how we engage with businesses. Because, of course, having members of industry talk to us about how they want to guide learning and engage with our students is really important. So, the International Advisory Board is composed of a lot of distinguished leaders and experts, and they come from various industries and regions, and they provide us with some really great guidance and insights, as well as international perspectives. So, some of those members include CEOs, parliamentary advisors, entrepreneurs, and regional industry experts. So that mix is adds a really vibrant insight to how we then go out and engage with businesses. So while you're here at Newcastle University Business School, there are several ways that you can enhance your in-classroom learning. One of those is through guest lectures. So business partnerships team, as well as your academics, work really hard to make sure that what you're learning is really relevant to current business practices. And the way we can really complement what you're learning in the classroom is by bringing in people to speak to you who are doing the job that you're hoping to do one day. So that can either be through an in-person or virtual session. And you can imagine, because we're an international organization, we've got connections all over the world. Sometimes they do have to be virtual just based on where the professional is from. But we try to bring those practitioners into the classroom so that they can share their expertise with the next generation of business leaders. You. So, of course, there are a lot of benefits to attending these guest lectures. And some of them include, gaining those insights into the latest business trends and challenges from people who are experiencing it every single day. You get to learn about those varied career journeys as well. There's no one way to get to your end goal, and it can be really helpful to just hear the twists and turns that other people's journeys have taken. Often our students come back and tell us that that's actually been some of the most vital learning of their program is just seeing that they can get to their end goal in so many different ways. And of course, you're able to ask them questions and you get to connect with them. So the things that you're wondering about, how do you apply for that job? What are some of the biggest challenges? What's the advice you have? Those are things you can ask them right in your own classroom. So definitely take advantage of having those insights right in front of you. And so here are some examples of just a snapshot of some of the businesses that have engaged through guest lectures in the last year. So we had KPMG, the global consulting firm, the BBC, and hopefully you all know the BBC if you like television, Procter and Gamble, Sage, the huge tech firm that actually was founded by a Newcastle University graduate and is based here in Newcastle, Goldman Sachs, and the National Innovation Center for Data. Now, they're actually part of the university and help businesses use the data that they have so that they can really enhance their business practice. And they've run sessions for our students to learn about data visualization as well. So there's also not only guest lectures where you can learn about the industry itself, but also skills development. Additionally, there are different ways that you can work with businesses in a more hands-on way. So we have student projects, and this is a great opportunity to engage with a business on a real challenge. Now, often businesses will have some ideas or challenges, but not necessarily the resources to look into it in depth. So that's where you come in. Our students, you're obviously at the forefront of the latest business thinking, and you're creative, and you come from a range of backgrounds and experiences, and that's so valuable to an organization. So, through student projects, either independently or in a group, you'll be able to work on a real business challenge and produce a consultancy report that aims to provide some new solutions to some classic business issues. Now, businesses find this really valuable because they get that fresh insight and they can potentially talent scout as well. And you gain a lot of experience working on a business challenge that you can add to your CV, talk about during interviews, and potentially make those business connections as well. So some projects actually take place as part of a dissertation. So instead of coming up with your own idea, you might be able to work with a business on their challenge and that be considered your dissertation. So some programs that offer that opportunity are international business management, global human resource management, digital marketing, and the MBA. But even if you're not in any of those programs, often there's other ways that you can work on challenges and competitions in the classroom. So here's a list of different topics that businesses have hosted in the past, and a lot of them are strategic development, and they just need that extra eye, that extra insight. And often one of the most popular challenges is market expansion because they're really interested in understanding where could their business possibly grow and develop. And depending on where you're from or where you've lived, where you've worked, you could offer some insights that they just wouldn't have available to them any other way. So it is really valuable for the organization, but again, for you as well, being able to really work on a practical challenge. But outside of the classroom, there are also so many different ways that you can engage with businesses. So these are extracurricular activities that we're going to talk about. And typically, these opportunities are presented to you while you're here and through our portal called My Career, which if you attended the last session all about employability, you'll learn about My Career. It's our internal portal where you get to learn about job vacancies as well as different opportunities that are coming up, as well as different emails too that are sent out to our students so that you're always knowledgeable about which businesses are going to be in the building that you could potentially link up with. So, in conjunction with the employability team, the business partnerships team works with them to bring in different organizations that you can meet. So we have our Careers Hub, which is on the ground floor of the business school. So anytime you're coming or going, you will go through the Careers Hub. And we'll bring in businesses that will put themselves there for the day. And often they'll have some sweet treats as well, or some pens or anything like that to lure you over. But often they'll be wanting to talk about some vacancies or really highlight opportunities within their organization so that they can raise their profile. A lot of times they'll host one-on-one coffee chats or mock interviews as well, as they use this as a way to talent scout. That's a great way to meet with different employers in the region and even national employers because they recognize the quality of Newcastle University Business School and they want to be here to be able to recruit. We also host industry insight sessions, and these are all extracurricular. So we bring in different people from a range of industries and backgrounds to be able to talk about practical topics that you might be curious about. How do you start a business? How do you get funding for a business? What are EDI challenges within the supply chain sector? Things like that that are just a huge range. And even if it's not necessarily what you're studying, but you're curious, you're more than welcome to attend. And these sessions are really fantastic because it widens your business knowledge. So no matter what you end up working in the future, you're able to pull in different insights that you've learned through these sessions. And again, this can be really, really helpful when you're going for future interviews or even networking. You're just able to pull from that huge spectrum of insights that you've gained. Additionally, we offer industry exploration treks. These are a lot of fun and they're all extracurricular, but it's when we actually leave the business school and go visit the businesses. So these can be local, national, and even international treks. And these are fantastic for your careers insights, but also, again, gaining, like peeking into different industries as well and understanding what you like and what you don't like. Often it's students' first time ever going into a corporate office environment, and you can see if that's something that actually appeals to you, or maybe you want to do something a bit different. So it gives you those real peeks into what your future could be like. So, some examples of where we've gone in the region, because like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, it's such a rich environment here in Newcastle. So, we've gone to a technology and robotics firm that was absolutely fascinating. We've also got investment and wealth management firms. We went to an offshore energy and renewable organization because we're right on the coast of England. So, we have some fantastic opportunities there if you want to pursue sustainability. Also, international marketing firms like Dentsu, which we have an organization here in Newcastle. And of course, we can't be talking about Newcastle without mentioning Newcastle United, who recently just won the League Cup, which is really exciting. They're right across the street from the business school. So we regularly go over there and explore the business side of the sport and leisure industry. But outside of Newcastle, we also visit places like London and Manchester and other UK cities because after graduation, you might want to explore living somewhere else. And it's really important to be able to do that in a really secure environment. So you go with a group of us and you get to see what are these cities like? Do you like them? Maybe you want to stay in Newcastle. And we are just happy to help you explore what your future could be. And some of those organizations we visited include Bloomberg. They have their headquarters in London, and an alum works there, one of our graduates. So he's given us several tours in the past. Citibank, PwC. Oh, and I also forgot to mention Nissan is a local employer. So that's part of our local option as well. And depending on the program, we have done international trips as well. But I should say these vary year to year. So it really depends on uh, who were who's recruiting, different insights, different topical situations that are going on that we think it could be really interesting for our students to experience. To go on a trek, you do apply, and our careers team does a fantastic job helping you really develop your application and make sure that you have the best chance possible of getting on one of these treks. They are fantastic opportunities to visit either locally or across the country. Additionally, apart from what we offer in the business school as well as tracks, you can also opt to do an internship. So internships are paid work experience outside of the classroom. And there are several different ways that you can pursue an internship. So we have specific internships purely for business school students. And this is something that we're really proud of because we have a fantastic caliber of student here. So the first one is the Bridges internships, and this is to provide business support for a local small and medium enterprise here in Newcastle. So again, that's specifically for business school students, and our careers team really help you develop your CV and interviewing skills so that you can have the best chance possible of securing one of these internships. Also, we have the Herbert Lobel internship, again, specifically for business school students. Herbert Lobel was a famed exporter here in Newcastle. And so this internship is to provide support for a local exporting business. So that's also really exciting. So you can help a local business develop internationally. And then we also have NCL internships. Now, this is open to all university students, and there's a huge range of different businesses that are on or hosting NCL internships. And what's really great is you'll be able to see just the wide range that's available to all of our students. So maybe perhaps before you've gone into doing a master's in business, maybe you studied engineering or biology or something different, you can see those internships that are available across the entire university, and you can potentially sew together your two expertises, your two um, backgrounds as well. So that's a really great way to be able to see what else is available. And again, we must note that they're not guaranteed, but candidates must apply. And again, our careers team provide fantastic support. And I have to say, business school students are usually really successful at securing a lot of these internships. But for some people, it's really difficult to do classroom learning and an internship or perhaps part-time work. So another opportunity is volunteering. So this is how you can gain valuable work experience while also giving back to your new community. So this is really ideal, again, if timing is just really difficult for you. There are several different ways that you can volunteer. So that could be within schools, community groups, or charities. And the university does a really fantastic job of promoting these volunteer opportunities. So through the Students' Union, like I mentioned before, that My Career portal, and also Career Hub takeovers, we do bring in charities to highlight volunteering opportunities, and our very own business school Charity of the Year. So this initiative, we work with a local charity. This year, it's the People's Kitchen, which is a soup kitchen and food bank. And we offer volunteer opportunities, regular food and clothing drives, and also student-led fundraising initiatives. So if there's a charity you are interested in supporting, it could be our charity of the year, or perhaps it's another um, another mission that you're really passionate about. You can initiate your own fundraising drive, and that's something we're happy to support with and be able to push forward. And again, it's something brilliant to be able to put on your CV that you've got that project management experience and that you took the initiative to do a fundraising effort as well. So that's another great way that you can add to your work experience. And in addition to those opportunities, there are several other ways that you can continue to engage with industry. So, something special here at the business school is that we have a visiting professor of innovation and enterprise. And every year, it's someone new from the business community who is really making waves and someone who is really inspiring the next generation of innovators and people who want to start their own business, but also do something special within a large organization. So sometimes you think of a really big business and you don't necessarily think of innovation, but there are always ways that you can create change. And so this year, our visiting professor is pictured here. Her name is Lisa Opie, and she's the managing director of Ubisoft Reflections and Ubisoft Leamington. So this is one of the largest gaming developers in the world, and they have a base here in Newcastle. And what's fantastic is that Lisa came into this organization and she's been leading and helping to innovate such a large organization. So if you are a gamer, you'll probably know Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six Siege, and Watch Dogs. So this all comes under Lisa's remit. And it's been fantastic because she's been able to come into the business school and really help through guest lectures, mentoring, providing student projects, and participating on event panels as well. So every year, the visiting professor really embeds themselves in the business school and are accessible for us so that we can even reflect on our own curriculum and make sure that it's tailored to the latest business trends and how business is evolving. Now, every year, a new visiting professor is announced in the autumn, and it's a really great way as a new student to quickly embed yourself in the business school community. So there's an inaugural guest lecture from our visiting professor and a networking event that's open to all students. And then, of course, hopefully you'll be able to see our visiting professor around the school and at different events. Also, the business partnerships team, we host another Industry Insights event series. You'll notice Industry Insights is a very popular term here at the business school. But this sort of session is also open to people from outside of the business school. And the aim of this event series is to bring together academia and industry for discussions about contemporary topics. So the way these work is that we have an academic who is doing some really cutting edge research on a different and several different topics, but we'll pick one theme and they'll present 20 minutes of their research, and then that lays the foundation for the conversation with industry. So, for example, the last session we had was about the rise of the ethical consumer. And so we had a professor from the economics department to present his research about why people are interested and willing to pay more for an organic or fair trade product compared to paying a cheaper price for a standard produced item. So that led into a discussion with Patagonia, the clothing manufacturer, as well as Fair Trade International, which I'm sure everybody is familiar with Fair Trade. And we also had a local organization as well participating. And so it was that interaction between industry and academia, where sometimes it's a debate, which is fantastic, but also how they can really support one another and how they benefit from one another, actually. So some different topics in the past. We've also done inclusive marketing, reflecting on the impact of AI and the future of work. So as you can see, every time we offer one of these events, it's a completely different topic with different members of industry, and students are always welcome to participate in these sessions as well and join. There's also networking after the session, and it's great because you can talk to industry leaders about the session you just heard about and hear what do they think? Do they disagree? Do they agree? What are they curious about? What's happening in their industry? And it really gives you those insights as well to walk away with. And obviously, I've given you a whistle stop tour about the different ways that you can engage with businesses while you're studying here at the business school. But what are actually the benefits of doing that? Why should you care? Why should you engage? Why should you participate in extracurricular opportunities? There are several reasons. I think first and foremost, there is that career development and employability skills that you do develop when you engage with industry. So, for example, you'll be networking with people who have been in industries that you're interested in, and you're really able to develop those connections as well. And you're able to practice what is it like engaging with people who are currently doing these roles. And of course, you can make those connections. LinkedIn is huge. So, people you meet at networking events, you can connect with them on LinkedIn and then regularly see what are they posting? What's happening in their industry? Are there roles available? And by participating in guest lectures, student projects, internships, treks, all of those different things, you can really enhance your CV and give yourself conversation points in interviews. You'll have practical examples, even if you never have any work experience by engaging with things offered at the business school, you'll have those to be able to talk about and reference as practical experience. And that's something you really wouldn't get otherwise. Also, skills development. I think it's really important to highlight that these aren't just engaging with industry isn't just nice to have. It's actually something that will develop your skills. So I know we call them soft skills, but they're actually really vital skills. How you communicate with other people, how you are able to have empathy and understanding and listening skills. Those are all so, so important. And also presentation skills when you're working with businesses and let's say you're doing a student project or an internship, you report back, you have to give presentations. And this is a really safe way to practice those skills development and have positive feedback and constructive criticism from professionals and not just sometimes people who at the business school you get used to us, so sometimes it's nice having that outside eye being able to reflect your own skills. And of course, technical skills as well. Depending on what project you're working on for a business, you might have to upskill yourself. So we offer several different, and again, if you participated in the employability session, you'll learn about the different skill sessions that we also run. So you can upskill yourself that way, but also through LinkedIn Learning, depending on what it is that you're looking to upskill yourself on. And of course, project management, being able to run a project successfully to a deadline, whether that be an internship, a student project, or if you're volunteering and you want to lead a fundraising initiative, those are all project management skills that will be required, and you can reference back to those in different interview settings. Also, research and innovation insights. By attending different sessions and learning from practitioners, you can really learn how academia is impacting industry and vice versa. Neither of these two things work in silos and they really impact one another. And sometimes you don't necessarily see the connections until you actually are in the room talking to the researchers, talking to the business practitioners, and also talking to your academics. They are really interesting people who are doing brilliant cutting edge research that's impacting industry. So you get to see what you're learning in the classroom, how it's translating to industry, and how you can take that into your future work experience as well. And of course, you get exposed to industry trends and challenges. So things are changing so rapidly, especially, let's say we just take AI, for example. Every day there is new news coming out and new developments, and being able to talk to people who are working in these industries is going to give you those insights in a practical manner. So you get exposed to the market needs as well, because they'll talk about during guest lectures, for example, or industry insight sessions, they'll talk about challenges their business is facing. So if you know what the challenges are, and you know in a year's time you're going to be entering that industry, how can you fill that gap? How can you be the solution that business needs? So, again, that's where you can upskill yourself and start looking into how you can make yourself valuable to these organizations. And often you can't necessarily get that outside of a conversation. You get the candor and the insights from people when you're face to face. You also get access to the latest technology that the business school offers so that you can use that to, again, upskill yourself and really be able to make yourself valuable. And of course, gaining those insights into corporate culture. Often, when you're doing a master's degree, if you haven't worked, in a formal environment before, it can be really helpful to be around professionals to see how do they speak? How do they dress? What do they talk about? Those different things. So then you're more confident when you go into a business environment. Which leads into the next point, personal and professional growth. That is the point of you doing a master's. You're going to grow personally and professionally. You're deepening your business acumen, but also you're developing as a human being and you're going to become more confident. So when you know a topic really well, but then you also feel confident in yourself because you know how to speak to professionals, how to carry a conversation, how to network. You get to practice all of those things in a really safe environment. And one thing that's always fantastic for us is when we host networking events throughout the year. So there are always so many different groups of people coming into the business school. And we see students at the beginning who are really, really nervous. Networking can be super intimidating. But we bring in people, professionals who recognize that it's intimidating and want to help you develop. So seeing you at the beginning being really nervous and intimidated and continuing to come to sessions, and by the end of your program, you feel confident, you know how to network, you know how to do that, and that is brilliant to be able to see. But of course, that depends on you coming to the sessions, putting yourself in those situations, and honestly being vulnerable and putting yourself out there and trying it. And it's okay if you don't get it right the first time. The more you practice, the more you try, the better you get at it. And also, if you come to networking sessions or industry insight sessions that might necessarily be your discipline, the fact is you're growing your business understanding. So let's say you're studying international marketing, but you attend a human resources session. Having that insight into what's happening in human resources can only help you in your marketing work. Because then too, when you're in an organization, you understand what are the human resources challenges, what are they working on, or even supply chain, or perhaps data analytics. If you attend these different sessions, it really helps you just better understand how businesses work as a whole. And that's something that will make you incredibly valuable to a future organization. So, as you can see, there are a wealth of benefits to engaging with industry, and whether that's in your program through guest lectures or student projects, or through extracurricular opportunities like attending industry insight sessions, networking opportunities, student treks, internships, volunteering, there's a wealth of opportunity there. And hopefully, you join us at Newcastle University Business School and you get to enjoy all of that here with us. So thank you so much. And at this point, I'd like to open it up to any questions.